Difficult. Women.
What up?
Hey.
Yeah. Oh.
How's it going?
Woo! I think our listeners can tell we have an ad placement, our very first ad placement.
Yes.
That runs at, I believe, at the beginning of all of our podcast episodes from now on.
Yeah. I hope that's okay. I hope you don't leave. But it's good. Ads cap. We gotta do it. We gotta play the game. Be part of the thing.
Well, I think we made our first $20 the other day.
Yeah. Sorry guys. Sorry guys.
Yeah.
We're rolling in it now. So we're gonna have to listen to a few ads. That's what comes with fame and fortune. $20.
$20. 1987. Yep. Who's that? Who's that?
I'm
talking?
Katy. Who's that over there?
Marie.
And what are we doing?
This is the Difficult Women podcast.
It's true. It is.
It is true.
It's not WTF. It's not the Joe Rogan podcast. What if we remarketed as the Joe Rogan podcast, but we were the same podcast, but then we changed all of our logos and changed the name and tried to just steal all of his listeners? I bet some of them wouldn't even know.
I bet they would not. They would just tune in and think, wow, something's a little different, but I'm not going to use my brain capacity to figure out
I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
We should. That's marketing genius right there.
Anyway. I have to ask, have you watched the Chappelle special yet?
I have.
You have?
I have watched it. Have you seen it?
Yes. What do you think? Or do you feel comfortable talking about this on air?
Sure.
Or we can discuss off air.
No.
But I think
we should talk about it on air.
Yes.
I think it's very complicated conversation, and I know some people are going to be like, there's nothing complicated about it, he's transphobic and that's the end of it. And like, okay, I hear you. On a surface level, a lot of those jokes I just didn't find funny. I was like, I'm not laughing a lot right now. There was like, I can't remember which one it was. There was one joke that I did laugh too hard at. but it was like, I don't even think it was one of the, but a lot of it was sort of like, it felt sort of cheap. But then but then you have to listen to what he's saying, right? You have to watch the special and take in what he's saying. And what I took away from it is that like, he's very clear on what his perspective is. He makes it very clear, and people are not listening to what he's saying. And he says it very clearly over and over again in this particular special, and he's been saying it. And his point is, and I think the perfect example within the special is the DaBaby part, where he talks about how this guy DaBaby, who I don't know anything about,
right,
and I feel so dumb saying his name, but anyway, DaBaby, I guess he on stage said some horribly homophobic things, and people were, understandably outraged about it. And Chappelle's point is, he got canceled for saying negative things towards gay people. The same man murdered a black person. And he didn't get canceled for that. And right. That is, to me, like the crux of what Dave Chappelle is like trying to get this message across, and what he's been proving, even in this special itself, is that people don't want to talk about how we treat black people, but they're willing to jump up for everybody else. Is this a fully accurate, full, complete statement that's fully thought through on his end, that's like 100% rock solid as an argument? I don't know. I'm a white cis woman, so I don't know that I'm even capable of having the full conversation here. But I think that what I can 100% agree with is that we do not give enough space to the black community ever. Just ever, where Dave Chappelle's missing the boat, I think, is that he's assuming then like that, and I know he's not assuming this. I think if we talked to him, he'd have more to say about it. But like in this whole scenario, it's like he's forsaken the black trans community and the black gay community. And I think a lot of like when some of the responses that I've heard from the black gay community are like, what the fuck? You're just treating this like what, only white people are gay or like whatever. I think Dave Chappelle would have a thing to say about that, but I can't tell you what it is because I'm not Dave Chappelle. And I also think that I think that the nature of the show itself is proving his point.
Yes, that's exactly.
You know what I mean? Like him getting canceled for talking about trans things, but then people still not having the conversation that he wants to have about black people in the black community. That's where I think we should be listening to this. Does that mean that would I be trying to make my point in the same way he is? No, I wouldn't be doing it, but that's his right to express himself like that. Is he hurting people? Like, yeah, people are getting hurt by this stuff, and they're getting hurt outside of the comedy part of it too, because it does empower some people to be violent against gay and trans people, because they're like, yeah, Dave Chappelle, because they don't get it. they're not getting that he has a deeper message there, and he's not advocating for that. I'm sure he's not. So anyway, I think it's kind of, there's a lot to unpack there that I think a lot of these articles about he's homophobic are missing. There's more there to have a conversation about. That's my feeling. What was your feeling about it? And I don't know. I'm not the expert, by the way. Like I said, that's just what I took away with it.
I think the thing that I took away from it most is that we're all just human beings trying to make our way through this space and time in our own experiences. And I think I actually applaud him for trying to make something like that. That's such a moment in time. I understand. I think that he has his experiences, his own personal experiences, and he wants to talk about them, and he has an audience for that. That is an incredible privileged place to be, and we're all, we're tuning in and stuff. I think it's just so telling of where we are in society that people take things out of context, because for me, watching the whole special in its entirety, I was crying at the end. I wasn't laughing, I was sobbing.
Yeah. And I was, I don't mean to.
Yeah, no. But yeah, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that the thing I also walked away with from that was, again, I didn't laugh a lot at that special.
Yeah.
But he's just such a good craftsman.
Yes.
And storyteller. And he crafted that. And even those first couple jokes where you're like, oh, where's this going?
Yeah.
It's all by design.
Right.
He's not just like losing his mind and, just trying to be hateful. He's trying to make a bigger point, and I really appreciated that.
As an artist, I really appreciate that. It's, we always throw around these oh, you're so brave, but he's getting such backlash right now for just having these experiences and trying to figure out how to make them funny, which is that is we're so lucky to have him of our time, I think, because he is a modern day philosopher. I think comedians right now, it's a lot of pressure on them to make sense of the world and make it funny as well. So his special wasn't as gut, punching and laughing. And
the other thing about it though is that he's an incredible joke teller,
totally,
and a joke craftsman.
Yes,
and so it is by design,
right?
That those jokes are bad.
Yes,
he knows
I know
they're not funny.
Right.
He's doing it to provoke us.
Right.
And that's the part that I think, and people bought it hook, line, and sinker.
Right.
He fully proved his point.
Right. Yes. So I think as far as, I was really blown away by the whole special.
Yeah.
Because it's also made me have some really uncomfortable conversations with friends about this sort of stuff. In
what aspect of it? Can I ask?
Well, number one, cancel culture, just how things are black and white, how things how freedom of speech is at stake at the moment too, how offensive my one of my best friends who is trans was from the special. So I want to hear that and be there for that, and not be, because also I think we're all are watching it from our own. I mean, this is where it's so fucked up, is where you do watch something, you watch a movie, you watch a comedy special, you listen to a song or whatever. And nowadays more than ever, there's millions of people behind you telling you how you should feel or think or, react to art. And I personally, I try not to, before watching the special, I try not to read too much because I just wanted to experience and see how I personally would react to that stuff. And yeah, some stuff was really uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. But I was like,
and I would even argue in poor taste. You know what I mean?
Yes,
at best. And like, you know, but
again,
like
you
I think
said,
it was on purpose,
right?
Like
right.
I think that's on purpose.
So this is where we are, you know. And I don't know. I do. I hope I don't get, you know, canceled for saying it, but I do hope people watch it and
I
then
want people to
have
watch
these
it
really,
too.
then have these discussions and like then change your behavior or go, you know, contact your congressmen and women. Like, let's fucking make huge change because there is not equality in our world at all. More than ever, and we're gonna get into it even more.
Yeah.
But
and also the idea too that like when people are talking, like, listen. Don't just assume you know what their intentions are.
Yes.
Because I think that's the other thing. And he says it in the goddamn special. He's like, you're not listening. You're not hearing what I'm saying, you know? And it's like, okay, we have to listen. And I think, honestly, we got to listen to everybody.
Yes.
Well, but mostly we do a lot of listening to white people and a lot of and to straight people. We do a lot of that listening. We need to listen way more to the Black community and to the trans and gay community, you know. But I do think we keep overlooking this demographic of people. We just keep overlooking them and we write them off and we don't listen. That's why there's still no clean water in Flint. You know,
right.
Like, hello,
right.
That's the point,
right. I did enjoy his Martin Luther King joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just look at.
That may have been the one that I laughed at.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, and again, does it mean that everything is perfect for gay and trans people? No. Also, intersectionality, right? That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So we can't it's not black and white. No matter which way you look at it. So Dave Chappelle, hey, it's not black and white. Guess what? I think he would agree with me. I think he'd say, I know, but I'm trying to make a specific point in this special. Got it. You know? I don't know what he would say. I shouldn't say that I know what he would say. But I'm as a white person,
right?
I heard him loud and clear and was like, "Ooh, you're right.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, you're right. We're not doing a good job. We're not doing a good job with our Black friends and family."
And I don't know what Hannah Gadsby's been saying, but I do know that that's been a thing as well because they're on the same platform and, you know, and Netflix.
Well, I think that Netflix was trying to use, I don't, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that they were trying to use her as an example of like, well, we are very pro gay people. Like, for example, we had Hannah Gadsby on and Hannah Gadsby was like, get my name out of your mouth. Like, don't use me to try to defend, because I'm not sure she's a big fan of that. But the irony is that I don't know if she is or isn't. I'm sort of assuming that she wasn't a fan of Chappelle's special. But the irony is I think that she did a lot of the same things that he did in her special.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I just think we have to. And also, again, the fact that we're so quick to jump on him and be like, you know, fuck you, whatever. We're just still not listening to another Black man. You know, we're still not listening. So that's all. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Write in with your ideas. I mean, again, this is deep stuff. So there's lots of perspectives and lots of ways to continue.
Yeah, please, actually,
have this conversation.
And we'll read them on air if you
if you want us to.
Yeah, if you want us to, because we're just like two white cis women.
What do we know?
What do we know?
It's just our feeling.
Yeah. Anyway,
good talk. I'm glad you brought it up. I was thinking about bringing it up.
I just wanted to talk. I was going to talk to you just about it, just as best friends, but might as well record it and probably get some hate mail for it.
Great. I love it. I love being canceled. Love it. I'll get canceled for the right reasons. You know what I mean? That's fine with me.
Totally. That's great.
Anyway.
All right. Well, let's get into our topic today.
Let's get into it.
I do think that we need to start this off by saying we love men. We love men.
And again, not all men.
Hashtag
not all men.
Not all men.
It definitely
is.
And this,
men.
Especially, I do feel like this is a very much a not all men situation, because I know many, many, many men that don't partake in this behavior. But I also have met many, many men that do.
Many men who do this. Weaponized incompetence. Yes. That is a hashtag that's going super viral on TikTok. But also, I would encourage people, type that shit into Google and read all the articles about weaponized incompetence, because...
And how long they've been... It's honestly, there was a couple of articles that were coming up, and it's under different names. So weaponized incompetence, or like feigned incompetence, or like, strategic incompetence, like that whole... All of those names. Because I noticed there's been articles going back to like 2007 talking about this concept. Yeah, I was surprised. I was like...
It didn't just happen on TikTok?
It didn't just happen on TikTok. But it was just that, like, this is sort of an idea that people have been toying with for a while, but now I think it's really coming out.
Right. Well, this started, so I guess months ago, I saw this commercial. I guess it's on YouTube. It's a young father with like a new baby, and he's left alone with the new baby for the first time. And the mother, so it's cute. You're like, oh, look at the dad, stay at home dad. Oh, how wonderful. And then all of a sudden, Alexa, the Amazon Alexa, is like, Laura says that the baby's, teething thing is in the freezer. And then then it goes on, and then he's playing with the baby. And then Alexa's like, Laura says that, the kid has a play date, and then it shows the dad like run into whatever. And then Laura said, so obviously the joke is like the mother has set up Alexa to help remind the dumb new dad.
Because he can't do it by himself. Yeah. He's incompetent.
Yeah. Because heaven forbid your baby's crying because of teething, and you don't know to go get the fucking frozen giraffe teething ring in the freezer.
Or God forbid that you weren't the one that put it in there in the first place. So you know where it is.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that got me thinking. And then you sent me this article that was originally in USA Today, just about this type of behavior in society.
And it came up recently on TikTok because a woman was... one of her TikToks was a grocery list for her husband.
Oh my God.
It was this like very detailed like list. It had pictures. She had like taped pictures next to each thing
of an
on the list.
avocado. Yeah, there was like an avocado.
Like things. And then she even had drawn a map of the like grocery store of like where to go, and then how much each thing cost or whatever. Like really having to like hand hold. Later, she did say, "Oh, this was just an exaggerated joke. Like we were just like joking." Because I guess she's in like their TikTok is all about like husband and wife, and a lot of their tropes are about like men are like this and women are like this. So they're kind of playing into the whole thing. But people said like what's interesting about it is that the comments. Because people were like, oh, I have to do this for my husband too. Or like, I bet you people would comment too, like, or we sent him to the grocery store and I bet you still had questions. He still was calling you with questions. Or he still fucked it up, And so the question is, are these types of men really that stupid? Or are they faking this to get out of doing some of this quote unquote what they consider menial work that they can get somebody else to do for them?
Right.
And the answer, it turns out, is that men aren't as dumb as they look.
Oh, really?
and they are doing this on purpose, the ones that are doing this. Again, because I was thinking about like, have I ever dated someone that was pulling this shit? And expected me to do I don't know how to. And part of it, by the way, signs of this behavior are things saying like, oh, I don't know how to cook. Like I'm just all thumbs in the kitchen. I don't know how to do anything. I can't clean. Like, oh, she always does it better. Like, sort of
you do it better.
Verbally sort of acknowledging those things. And then when you are asked to like do the laundry gets fucked up. Everything turns pink, or like, you know what I mean? That is part of the whole manipulation process in this feigned incompetence.
Yeah. Do you have any experience?
I was trying to think like, do I have any? And I realized that no, I've never dated anybody that does this. And the reason why is my tolerance level for incompetence, whether it be feigned or real, is extremely low. I really have a hard time with people not being able to accomplish like simple tasks. I can't. I don't have any friends that act like that because I cannot it's probably my number one pet peeve is like just people being incompetent. Where I have experienced it a lot is at work. Not my work now, but in like especially catering jobs. Where people pretend like they can't do something so that they get asked to. I know, and you're like, oh, because I'm sure you've probably done some of that yourself. But it just makes me insane. It makes me insane. Although the truth is, you say, oh, but I know you also are a very hard worker because you'd be picking up the slack all the time. They asked you to be like managing at times. So like they don't do that for someone that's actually, you know what I mean? That's so even if there were times you had that, like you overall, you were clearly a good employee. But anyway, so.
Well, I just remember, the only guy I've ever lived with for 3 years, I think we were living together. He told me, looked me straight dead in the eyes and says, babe, I can't see the dust like you can.
Right.
And I screamed at him so loud, what, your eyes are broken? Like, you get fucking new contacts or glasses or whatever, because, like, that's fucking bullshit. Because he would never actually dust. He would never really do the thing. And last night at dinner, obviously I'm here with my family in Nashville. Last night at dinner, I watched my fucking dad do this. He's so sweet. He's trying to, like, clear the table so my mom doesn't have to do anything. Clears the table and then just puts the dishes on the counter.
Right.
And he's like, I did it. It's like, well, what the fuck are you supposed to? I mean, he has Alzheimer's, so he probably doesn't even know where the dishwasher is. But that is something that I've noticed with some of my, the men in my family's life.
Yeah.
Like, I watch this play out, and it's not like, I feel like it's also the patriarchal system that we live in and how capitalism, values masculine tasks and money. And then we are constantly, as society, not valuing domestic life. But domestic life actually should be number one because it's honestly keeping the health and safety of your family.
It's keeping you alive.
And keeping you alive.
This is what I can't get behind.
Yes,
with
I
this,
know.
like these people, anybody,
Yes,
man or
yes.
woman, that says things like, "Oh, I don't cook, I don't clean, I don't know how to do that stuff. I can't. Oh, I don't know how to do this thing." How are you alive?
Right.
These are literally the skills you need. Cleanliness is like the thing that will keep you from being sick.
Right.
Feeding yourself will keep you from starvation. Like, I don't believe it. I just don't believe you.
Right.
I just don't believe you. And like, it's okay if like you're not like, the best cook in the world. Like, nobody's asking that, but you have to be able to like feed yourself. And like, ideally, and again, you don't have to be like a grandmaster chef, but to expect then your wife or girlfriend or roommate to do that for you.
Right.
I just don't.
I had an ex during the pandemic texting me pictures of his food that he made himself. Because
he never. Yeah.
I was like, congratulations on cooking.
Yeah.
You're
as a grown ass man.
Yeah, as a grown ass man.
You made macaroni and cheese. Good for you.
Good for fucking you.
Yeah.
Like,
there's a lot of boys doing that in the and also, but I will say this. Good for them.
Good for them.
For doing it. For trying. For getting out there and making an effort. You know what I mean? Like I do appreciate that.
But this is also like they want a sticker now. Or they want a trophy or an award for actually feeding their fucking mouth hole.
Well, this is part of the whole like phenomena. Because the two things that you get out of this feigned incompetence, or what is the term that they're using now, the hashtag term?
Weaponized incompetence.
Weaponized incompetence is like, there's two things you get out of it. One is if you fake this incompetence, you get out of doing a lot of work because when you do a bad job, people are going to get fed up and they're going to do it for you,
Totally.
The other thing that you get is if you ever do anything decently, it's just like the bar is so low that everyone is just praising you. So I mean, it is a manipulation tactic. I mean, at the end of the day, sorry guys, if there's people out there like, and again, it's not even just that only men do this. It's just certainly I've seen this behavior in men way more than in women. And like you're saying, because of the domestic work part of it and how that work is so devalued in our society, and how that work becomes labeled as woman's work.
Totally.
It then takes on this not only does it become on more frequently that the man is doing this activity, this like this weaponized thing, but in addition to that, it is a form of misogyny. Period.
Yes. Well, it's also detrimental to, again, like Google it, but also if you're on TikTok, look up the hashtag weaponized incompetence, because it is amazing. There's actually this woman who I didn't know of until this morning, that darn chat. Her name is Laura. She's a teacher and she's a parent. And actually what she's doing on TikTok is super cool because there are these moms, generally mothers, that like make jokes about their husband's incompetence. So like this one TikTok was of a video of a woman who has a video of her husband coming downstairs at 11 a.m. after sleeping in and taking a shit for 45 minutes and shaving and taking a shower and that sort of thing. So she has a video of him coming downstairs and she's like, haha, look at my husband who gets to come. And it's to the song, like, I wish I could do that. So like, and so she films him coming downstairs saying that he's, got to sleep in, do all these things. And then there she is with these 2 babies. And she says, I wish I could do that. So then this woman, Laura, that darn chat is her TikTok name. And she just breaks it down how much that is incompetence, like how weaponized incompetency, and how it's actually detrimental to the family dynamic, because it's like the amount of resentment in a mother like towards her husband is that, but also that it's teaching the children that how to get out of shit you don't want to do by faking incompetency. So because kids are just like sponges, and so they're just watching this unfold and
dynamic
then like
play it,
yeah, and so it's I just think it's interesting on TikTok of like these like, they're meant to be funny, but then this woman, Laura, is like just going through and blasting everybody. Because number one is that when a baby is born, I don't have a baby, so I don't know. I don't even have a boyfriend. I don't know. However, I do know that every parent that becomes a new parent, if you have a partner, you both have become parents at the same time. Right. So there should never be.
And and it should be equal. And we've had conversations about that too, that the mothers tend to do more of the work than the men anyway with babies, and some things like breastfeeding or whatever, of course, like the man can't do that, but there's other things that he can do to pick up the slack that a lot of dads don't do. But the other thing about all this is that like it was a thing anyway, or whatever, like in the 50s when we had all these housewives and they stayed home and then men went off to work, and so like the work was, maybe you could consider it more evenly distributed because the woman did the housework but the man did the work in the office and stuff like that. Well, guess what? Now a lot of women are in the workplace and they're still doing 40% more of the work in the household chores. So that's the other thing about it is like, dude, like if your wife or girlfriend is working too, on top of that, I'm not saying that's a whole other conversation, but if she's at work too, working 40 hours a week like you are, why in God's name would you think that it makes any sense that it's okay to just then push on her all the rest of the stuff in addition to that, with or without kids, right? You don't even have to have kids, because it's things like the cleaning and the, and the just the stuff that keeps you alive.
They call it the second shift. A woman's second shift. So she goes to work and then her second shift is fucking keeping her family
taking care
alive.
Of this. Yeah. I don't know. And again, I have so little tolerance for that kind of behavior that I just have not really been in that position. I've been on dates with people that, start to talk shit like that. I'm like, goodbye. Like I just can't. I just can't. But, what was the other thing? It just makes me there was an article that one of the articles was written from the perspective of the guy that does this behavior. It was like in The Guardian or something. And he was like, yeah, so I definitely do this. I am notorious about it. Like people they think I'm an idiot. He's like, but I'm not an idiot. I'm definitely doing it on purpose. I will, if somebody asks me to do the dishes, I will like break things on purpose so they don't ask me to do it again.
Right.
I will. There was one of his stories. This is where like this is a friend situation, so it can be like a friend situation too, or a roommate situation. I remember my old roommates, they had a guy living with them at one point where he was expecting them to do his dishes, and they were like, what the fuck? And I lived in that apartment at one point, so I knew we had a weekly chore schedule, so everybody did the like cleaning once a week and stuff, and like this guy was just not gonna do it. He just like wasn't. He's like, no, I'm not a man. I'm not a woman. Like that's woman's work. I'm not gonna do this. So that, as you can imagine, some of my roommates, like they're can you imagine like what that was?
Where's
like?
his body?
I mean, yeah, exactly. They buried it up back. But so this guy, and this to me, I was like, no, it's not cute. It's not fucking cute. But he came one day when he's like, even in sorry, I'm like struggling to tell the story because it makes me so mad. In his 20s, he went over to like his friend had moved into a new apartment, and he was like coming over like as a housewarming or whatever. And so as like a gift to them, he brought over a raw pack of bacon so that then they could make him a sandwich. But he had it. He was like, "Oh, it's a gift for you. But can we make some bacon sandwiches?" And he was like, and I would be like, "Get the fuck out of my fucking face. We are not talking anymore. I can't. It's not cute. It's not fucking cute to me.
It's not cute."
He said, but to the point that like this stuff works, they made me the sandwich.
Right.
So it just gets rewarded. This behavior gets rewarded over and over again. And he talked about how much burden he puts on his wife. That he's like, and he's like, and I'm aware of it. He said it started at a young age. He was 4, and his teacher was calling his parents, being like, "I think your son is sick," because he was. Every time the teacher would ask him to do something, he would pretend like he was sleeping to get out of doing it.
Well, you know where he got that from. He must have seen it by his father.
He said, and he talks about this, and he said that my dad was never like that.
Oh.
He just sort of learned this behavior, and that like and I'm not saying it doesn't happen, that it can't happen that way. He did say where he got it from, more likely, was his mother.
Oh.
Because she would just do everything for him. So it wasn't his dad.
Oh, interesting.
His dad was a hardworking guy, whatever. He would never fake something like that. But his mother would just let him get away with murder. And that brings that brings up the point that like this behavior is learned, right? And it's not only in society with TV and like, oh, these are the gender roles and all that stuff, but also like if you are doing everything for your sons like that, and you're perpetuating this idea that, well, men don't know how to cook, stay out of my kitchen, instead of just teaching your son like, hey, let's make egg rolls together tonight. You know what I mean? Because mothers do that for their daughters, right? Like they expect their girls to learn how to cook. They teach them stuff. They like, even girls are like in the kitchen. I mean, I think about all the stuff that I learned about cooking just sort of by osmosis, by being in the kitchen with my grandmother. She wasn't even necessarily showing me,
right?
But I would just the other day, I was cutting up some carrots, and I just was like, I feel like I need to put these in ice water. I'm like, why am I having this urge to do this? I'm like, oh, it's because it's my grandmother always did, to keep them like crisp, and it worked. And I was like, oh, right, because I had like a little party. But it's just like that's something that she never said to me. Now, Katie, when you cut up carrots, put them in ice water. It just was what she did. But if the boy is not allowed to be in the kitchen, or the boy's not like encouraged to be in the kitchen, then he's not going to learn that. And if they have him do one thing and he fucks it up, and they're like, oh, you're useless in the kitchen, then of course, then they're gonna learn like, okay, I don't have to do this. So we as a society, we like promote this behavior, and we there was one other thing he said in that article, by the way, that I thought was interesting.
What?
Scientists and doctors and all this stuff have proven that it's actually mentally and health-wise to the detriment of the person doing the manipulation to not be participating, to be removing themselves from those, to not be helping, because you actually there's like a cooperation something that buzzes in your brain that helps develop like some brain function, and it keeps you feeling healthy, and there's like a bodily reward for participating and being cooperative. And when you remove yourself from those and you're actively avoiding being cooperative, you're actually hurting yourself.
Oh, wow.
Medically, yeah. And your like brain is like not fully developed or whatever.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought from another TikTok video, I thought this was so sad, but mom told her husband to watch the baby while she takes a fucking shower. And I know from not from experience, again, no baby, but just from friends and family and stuff. But, a shower is just 30 minutes where nobody else is touching you. Nobody else is needing your body. And like how important that is. And to then tell your husband or boyfriend or whatever, watch the baby while I take this 30 minutes for myself, and then come back this video like the husband is asleep, like just totally asleep, and the baby is just there.
I would fucking burn the house down.
But then and then going forward, it's like, so maybe that was just an accident. The dad was I don't know what the fuck. But then like the poor mother is constant. Like every shower she takes, she's just going to be worried that the husband's has fallen asleep again.
And it's your fucking kid.
And it's your fucking child. Like,
it's not her kid.
Fuck. Right.
Yeah.
That video, I mean, it was just like this simple little, haha, look at that. He can't even do
not
this.
Funny. It's not fucking cute.
Funny. It's not cute. Yeah.
And again,
that
like that's
shit.
like with the children situation,
Right.
it's like, no. We cannot.
Right.
Because kids die. You know?
Right.
Like all this, that's definitely a way to have your child die.
Well, there was another story of that. The husband was watching the kid, and he's a chef, and the mother found a fucking paring knife in the kid's car seat.
Yeah, no. Like, what
just
are you
he's
doing?
like, oh, I don't know. I'm an idiot. Like, I don't know.
No.
And
like you said, people make mistakes occasionally and stuff like that, but there is this, like, if it's happening all the time, what's going on?
Right. What the fuck is that about? So, how do we make the world a better place? Go on over to Amazon.com. Just kidding. Please don't go to Amazon. But I do have it pulled up because everybody kept suggesting this book called Fair Play. Did you hear about this?
By the way, just on a side note, isn't there a place called like bookshop.com or bookstore.com that's like, it sources books. If you want to order them online, it'll source from local bookstores instead of Amazon.
Because fuck Amazon. Wait, can I tell you I had a date the other day with this guy, and he told me that whenever he goes to Whole Foods now, he for every meal he buys, he steals one, and he just thinks it's like a big fuck you to Bezos.
I mean, sure. They don't even
are
know
you
the
a
difference.
klepto or? But he was like, I mean, it's just my one way of getting at Jeff Bezos.
I'm not condoning this behavior.
Right.
I am just saying that it's a thing that some people have done. Mm-hmm. But they have like self-checkout.
That's what
at,
that's
like
how
Walmart. You can buy. Do you take a lot of like Kool-Aid packets that are like 40 cents, and then when you take your item, you just have a Kool-Aid packet underneath it, and then you just swipe, and then you continue on your day.
Yeah,
I'm not condoning that behavior.
No, but let me tell you, when I was on a date, when they was telling me about it, I thought, this is foreplay. I'm feeling things in places right now.
Stealing from the man.
The man? Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Anyway, pretty hot.
I did find the name of this place.
Oh, great.
It's called bookshop.org.
Ooh, okay, great.
And you can order books online, and they will find them from local bookshops instead of the big.
Also, support your local library as well. But
yes, and libraries are also obviously great. But if you're like, no, I have to buy this book for somebody or whatever.
Because actually, this book right here, it does really it seems like. I haven't read it, but it seems like a lot of parents have been reading this book together or whatever. It's called Fair Play, a game-changing solution for when you have too much to do and more life to live. So it's great for both partners in the relationship to read. And then also, apparently there's they have a game now that you can play with your partner, but it actually is just about communicating with your partner, mapping out all the little things, but having discussion together to making a plan and then executing it. And then it's all about accountability. So if your partner doesn't do it, you can actually clearly say, buddy,
exactly.
We talked about this. We mapped it out. Mm-hmm. We played this game.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
We read the book. We played the game. What's your problem?
We did other things.
Yeah. So I
get it. Oh, and I was going to say one thing that's, it's like, if you're out there like trying to shirk responsibility, what's the word? Skirt around it?
Shirt it.
Shirk it. Shard it. If you want to shard out some responsibility. Look, because you don't like cleaning the dishes, I don't either. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's not like, but it has to be done. Right. So like, think of what you're doing, it's just incredibly selfish. It's incredibly selfish behavior to try to put on to other people the work that you don't want to do, because the chances are they don't really want to do it either. And that's where, like, when I was working in these like catering gigs, it wasn't that there weren't girls that were kind of lazy, but there were the men. I mean, some of these men were like, just doing the bare minimum, but in a way that was like, this still has to get done though, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're not doing it, who do you think is going to do it? You're getting paid to polish the silverware. Sorry.
Right.
That's what you knew that when you went to get this job, right? And I get it. It sucks. But if you take too long or you do a bad job and we have to redo it, who is that helping? We're all going to be here longer, and not in a good way, not in a way where you're like, oh, making more money, just in a painful way, because you don't really feel like doing it.
Right.
But you are that is like the opposite of cooperation. You know what I mean? Like that is like, how do I just fuck over my fellow friends?
Right.
Just really badly. And that's the part of it. So imagine now it's a family dynamic. You know, how do I really fuck over my girlfriend? How do I make her life more miserable? How do I make my wife just untethered? How do I get her to just want to commit suicide? I know. I will just pretend like I don't know how to clean anything. So I will make her do it. Yeah. Like it is just the most unkind way to treat your friends and people that you and I say friends in a co-working spot because people do become friends, and your family and your lover and your supposed partner. I just think, like, if you participate in that kind of behavior, I really think you need to think about what's going on there. Here's another thing. Sometimes, I'm not saying there's even anything wrong with, like, your wife always does the dishes and that's just what you guys have worked out. That can be fine. But is it because, are you sure that she's doing that because she wants to do it? Or is she doing it because she's terrified you're going to break all of the good china? Because you have proven to not be able to do this properly.
Be incompetent.
You know? It's worth, I encourage people to ask their partners, even if you're a woman and you're feigning incompetence, like, go talk to your partner and be like, am I doing this?
Yeah.
Should I do more?
Well, my best guy friend, like, his girlfriend makes him dinner every night, even though she goes to fucking work and he's just at the house. And I even was there observing this and said very out loud, like, you know what might be nice is you making dinner for her a couple nights of the week. And he looked at me and said, no, but she really loves doing this. And then she was like, no, I really do. And I was like, you really like working for 8 hours straight and then coming home and then having to then cook him a meal? And she was like, I mean, I guess, yeah, it would be really nice if you would.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. And it's not to say I love cooking for other people.
Totally.
But I also love it when people cook for me.
Yeah.
And to be honest, one of my favorite things to do with a partner is to cook together.
Yeah. No, I don't like that.
Oh, I love that. I like that, though. And maybe you don't. And some people don't. And honestly, some people, especially with cooking, a lot of times women really do have the idea of how they want their kitchen to be or whatever it is, and they want to come in and be like, this is my job, I like this, I don't want you to come in. So that's part of the conversation. But then what can you do? Maybe then you clean the bathroom, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what are the things that we, you guys have to figure it out. It's not my issue. You guys figure it out. But I just don't. It does piss me off a lot when people are, and the other thing is, you know it. You know what you're doing.
You know what you're doing. Yeah. You definitely know. I mean,
and if you really
my
are
boyfriend looking at me and saying, baby, I can't see the dust like you can.
Nope.
You can't fucking see this?
Nope.
What's wrong? It's crazy because you can see what, you
can see that baseball game that's on right now.
Yeah,
but
with that little tiny ball floating around. Yeah. But that's wild.
And guess what? These things, like, again, let's say you did grow up in a family where your parents did everything for you. Your mother did all the cleaning, all the cooking, and you aren't experienced at it. Here's the good news. None of this stuff is hard to do. None of this stuff can't be learned.
Right.
It's pretty, there's, and even cleaning, sure, there's like even methods of cleaning that are like, that give you a really nice, good, deep clean. You can watch a video on YouTube. You can even ask your girlfriend or your wife. It's like, well, how do you like this done? Or how do you do such a good job at it? How can I learn how you do it? So I can also do it for you sometimes too. Because it's not a skill set that is like learning Rachmaninoff on the piano.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, let's be real about this.
Right.
So anyway.
Great topic. Really great topic.
I also just want to throw out there, if you're a woman that's letting a guy get away with this, it's a little bit your fault too.
Yeah, bitch.
You got to just be like, no, we're not playing this game. Or if you have some guy doing that, just run. Just get out of there.
Just get out of there.
Just leave. That's what I do. That's why I'm still single, but that's fine.
They're all incompetent. there's nothing sexier than a competent man.
And nothing unsexier
right.
than an incompetent man.
Yes, exactly.
And if you don't know how to do something, that's fine. But if it's on purpose, nothing could be less attractive to me.
Get out of here.
Anyway, yeah, get out of here.
Get out of here. Send us an email, difficultwomenpodcast@gmail.com. Somebody sent us $10 on PayPal the other day because they enjoyed our podcast. That we should keep that going.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
To you.
That was
and
so
also,
nice.
if anybody else feels like doing that, we won't say no.
Yep, reformed
And
horse.
honestly, all that kind of money and stuff goes directly to our continuing the podcast and also the projects that we do with our band and things like that. So it is very appreciated.
Thank you so much. And also, we're going to be launching some merch soon. So stay tuned for
we got
that.
A cool image.
Oh my God, it's so cool. We love this artist too. So anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great week and don't be lazy.
Go take out the trash.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
Bye.